Let's just be real for a second. In a world that feels like it's constantly changing, feeling anxious about money is, well, it's pretty normal. It can feel like you're trying to navigate a huge storm without a map. But what if you could build your own shelter right in the middle of all that chaos? Well, that's what we're going to break down today. This quote right here, it's pretty much the theme for our entire conversation. See, the goal isn't to become some kind of fortune teller who can predict what the economy is going to do next. No way. The real goal is to build a personal financial system that's so solid, so robust, that it just doesn't matter what the headlines are screaming about. It's all about shifting our focus from worrying to preparing. So the very first thing we have to do, it's all in our heads. It's a mental shift. We're going to completely reframe how we think about uncertainty. Instead of seeing it as this big, scary monster, we're going to see it as the reason we build our financial fortitude, like building our own personal fortress, you know? Okay, look at this. This really lays out the two different mindsets, right? Over on the left, you've got the fear-based approach. That's when you're jumping at every news alert, feeling kind of powerless. But on the right, that's where we want to live, building a stable system that gives us real confidence. It's a huge shift from just reacting to actually taking control. And that really brings us to this key idea. True financial stability isn't about some dramatic, lottery-winning moment. It's built slowly, brick by brick, through small, disciplined, even boring habits. It's all about creating a system that lets you move forward with confidence, no matter what kind of chaos is happening outside. Okay, so we've got the mindset down. Now, let's get into the practical stuff, the how-to. Before we can build the walls of our fortress, we need a rock-solid foundation. And that foundation is simply a crystal-clear picture of your own financial reality. I really want you to pause and think about this for a second. This question isn't meant to stress you out. It's actually the opposite. Getting this kind of clarity is the single most powerful first step you can take. And honestly, it's the one most people skip. Without it, we're just flying blind. So how do you get that clarity? You start simple. This isn't about some super strict, scary budget. Think of it more like an awareness tool. Just take a look at last month. Where did the money come from? What had to go out for essentials? What did you choose to spend on? And what do you owe? That's it. This one little snapshot gives you all the power to start making intentional choices. And that right there is the whole point. Yeah, taking that honest look can sometimes feel a little uncomfortable. But that awareness, that's where all your power comes from. You just can't manage what you don't measure. This simple act is step one to taking back control. Okay, our foundation is poured and set. Now it's time to build up those defensive walls for our fortress. These are the strategies that are going to protect you from all the immediate shocks and bumps in the road that life just loves to throw our way. We're going to focus on 3 big moves here. First, we need to strengthen our cash flow to give us more breathing room. Second, we're going to build that all-important emergency fund to act as a buffer. And third, we'll tackle how to strategically manage any high-interest debt that's quietly draining your resources. Let's really zoom in on this emergency fund because it is so important. The best way to think about it is like the shock absorbers on your car. It's what makes sure that a little pothole, like a surprise car repair or a medical bill, doesn't completely wreck your entire vehicle. It's what stops a temporary problem from spiraling into a long-term crisis. Okay, so you always hear this rule of thumb, right? Have 3 to 6 months worth of your essential living expenses saved up. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That number can sound huge. Like impossibly big. But please, don't get hung up on the final amount. Because here's the secret. It's not about hitting that number overnight. The key is simply progress, not perfection. Setting up a small automatic transfer every single payday is infinitely more powerful than doing nothing because you're waiting to have a big amount to save. The habit of consistency is so much more important than the size of the fund when you're starting out. So the walls are up, the perimeter is secure. Now it's time to build the watchtowers. This is where we shift from defense to being proactive. These are the forward-looking strategies that let us scan the horizon and navigate the future with confidence. These are the game changers, the strategies that build real, lasting stability. We're talking about diversifying your income and your assets so you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, maintaining a long-term view so you don't panic, investing in yourself, your skills, and of course, managing risk with the right safeguards, like insurance. Think about diversification like this. Relying on a single paycheck is kind of like standing on a one-legged stool. It's just naturally wobbly. But when you start adding other legs, like some investments or a small side project, you create a much more stable base to stand on. The exact same idea applies to your investments. And let's not forget about maybe the most important investment you can make, investing in you. In a world where jobs and entire industries can change in a heartbeat, your skills, your knowledge, your ability to adapt, those are assets that no stock market crash can ever take away from you. They are your ultimate security. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most critical piece of this whole puzzle. You can build the strongest, most amazing fortress in the world, but it's pretty useless without a calm, rational commander inside. That commander? Well, that's you. And your mindset is everything. Because at the end of the day, this stuff isn't just math, it's psychology. Your mindset shapes every single decision you make, especially when you're under pressure. A fearful mindset leads to panic selling at the worst possible time. A resilient mindset helps you stay calm and stick to the plan. And that's the real magic of having a plan in the first place. The plan itself becomes your psychological anchor. When the world feels chaotic and volatile, you don't have to rely on your emotions. You just rely on the system that you built for yourself when you were thinking clearly. Preparation is the absolute best antidote to anxiety. Let's just end on this powerful thought. We can't get rid of uncertainty in the world. It's just a basic part of life. But we absolutely can choose to get rid of instability in our own financial lives. We can create our own stability by being prepared. So as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with this question. Forget about that giant 6-month emergency fund for a minute. What is your first, smallest, most doable step toward being prepared? Maybe it's just tracking your spending for 1 week or setting up a $10 automatic transfer. Whatever it is, that one little step, that's how you start building your fortress.